Yo, hey, this shit easy, nigga. Hey, all I'm talking about, nigga, I'm still out here trying to get it.
Contender Regime Boxing, checking back in with y'all, man. What's good? So you see the title, man. I feel like this is something that we needed to pinpoint, as if we hadn't already discussed this plenty times in different variations, and especially with it involving one of the biggest fighters in the sport today, Gervonta Tank Davis. Looking at what he did in his last performance that catapults him to the status, that could rival guys like Canelo Alvarez for the title of face of boxing, with his performance versus Ryan Garcia inside and outside the ring, with the pay-per-view numbers, the live gate that he did, had a ton of success in that fight, man. And that was just a testament of the way Team Mayweather and Team Tank has been building his career, and his performances in the ring as well, with the knockouts, the skill, the talent. All of that is clearly evident when you watch a Gervonta Tank Davis fight. Pure excitement, pure entertainment. I mean, athleticism out of this world, doing backflips off the top rope after going 10, 11 rounds with Mario Barrios and closing the show. Incredible fighter, man, and just has so much potential. But you see the title, and like I said, this ain't nothing new. We've been talking about this, and I think it's important that I touch on this a little bit more in depth and just pinpoint, because it's funny that for those who have been following Contender Regime Boxing, for those who have been following this channel, since we first started gaining any type of traction. This is not no big channel, but we, over the last 2 or 3 years, we've been able to gain some traction, man, and get some viewers and people actually fucking with us. You dig what I'm saying? And so for the people that's been here and understand what I'm about, understand the type of content I make, understand that we stand on logic, but also we stand on principles. You feel what I'm saying? And we stand on truth and realism. You dig what I'm saying? And we ain't gonna be on no bullshit. You feel me? And y'all know that I rock with Tank Davis. I'm a huge Gervonta Tank Davis fan. It's crazy how I think 2 years ago I did a top 10 ratings. I had never seen anybody else do this outside of like a video game. Actual ratings. I did ratings on the top, at that time, the top 10 pound for pound fighters. We did the Contender Regime Boxing pound for pound list, and then for those top 10, I did a ratings. Now, just because you were number 1 pound for pound at that time don't mean you had the highest rating. And I also did an honorable mention. I added Haney in there. At the time, he had been, I think he was just about to fight for Undisputed. But I added a honorable mention in there. Right? So in the top 10 ratings, Tank Davis at that time, I had him like number 6 or 7 on the pound for pound list. He came in at number 1 with the highest ratings, not pound for pound, but the ratings. I did letter ratings for different attributes like speed, power, IQ, defense, footwork, everything, athleticism. I did the main categories. I rated the top 10 fighters, and Tank Davis had the highest rating. I gave the reasons why I rated guys the way I did, and I gave you the criteria. You can still find that on the community page if you scroll back far enough. I might go back and pull that shit up just so y'all can see if y'all don't remember or you wasn't here at that time. The reason I bring that up is because people try to make me seem like I hate on Tank Davis, or just because I love what guys like Haney is doing, and I promote that because as a boxing fan, it behooves me, it benefits me more by pushing the way Haney moves as opposed to pushing the way Tank Davis moves. You feel what I'm saying? Because I'm a boxing fan first. Just like y'all, well, we're all boxing fans, but some of us prioritize these fighters before the actual sport of boxing, or prioritize one fighter over morals and standards and codes of ethics and shit like that. I don't do that. You feel what I'm saying? I'm not attached to one single fighter more than I am the well-being of the sport and what that looks like me from the perspective of a consumer and a fan. So as a fan, I want to see the best fights. And guys like Devin Haney, he pushes to make the best fights. He's calling out your favorite fighters. He's been asking for a Tank Davis fight. He's actually been taking steps to try to make that fight. He sent Shakur Stevenson a contract. You can say what you want about how that shit played out. Shakur turning it down and trying to go around Devin Haney to the WBC. You know what I'm saying? He chased down Lomachenko when Tank Davis wouldn't fight Lomachenko or wasn't interested in Loma, when Floyd Mayweather said no, don't even mention Loma because he's trying to make all the best fights that he can right now because he's so old. So he's trying to get Tank in there right now. He's trying to get all the guys in there because he's older coming out the amateurs and he want to fight right now. That's why he came in off the rip fighting Nicholas Walters and Gary Russell Jr. You know what I'm saying? Dudes that Tank ain't even thought about fighting. You feel what I'm saying? So, Devin Haney has already went for undisputed, became undisputed, and defended that versus Kambosos. Beat the guy that beat Teofimo Lopez, another guy that Devin Haney was trying to fight. He was trying to fight Ryan Garcia, and Ryan Garcia became his mandatory and still ducked him. That's why I promote what Devin Haney does as a champion and as a fighter, because that is what catapults the sport forward. That's what's gonna, fighters moving like how Haney moves is gonna get us better fights, because it takes two guys to be willing to make the fight happen. Now, there's fans like, there's hardcore Tank Davis fans and fans like him for other fighters that take away from the prestige of boxing and take away from, what real fight fans need to keep the sport going so we can get good fights, because people prioritize popularity and, image and all this other shit that don't really mean shit. It don't mean as much for the core of the boxing fan base for us to be able to continue to pay our money. We gonna watch fights because we hardcore boxing fans, but what I see that a lot of Tank Davis fans is the way they moving, they don't really care about making the best fights. All they care about is if Tank gonna be happy. All they care about is how much money Tank gonna make, or what type of clothes Tank wearing, or what I'm saying is, they don't give a fuck if he fighting your cousin. He can fight your cousin Ray Ray. He can fight Leroy from down the street. He can fight Julio Guzman that work at the car wash. They don't give a fuck who Tank Davis fight. They just want to see him go in the ring, get a knockout, look good, do a backflip off the top ropes. You feel what I'm saying? And then that's it. But I actually believe, I have a high expectation level for Tank Davis because I know how great he is skillfully. I know that he has some of the fastest hand in boxing. I know pound for pound, he's one of the hardest punchers. I know he has a high ring IQ. I know Tank Davis is a great counter puncher. I know he's a phenomenal athlete. I know that Tank Davis, it's so mind-boggling that I get called a hater because I have high expectations for this guy, that I see the greatness in him. Sometimes I question if the Tank Davis fans even see the greatness in him. And me even talking like that irks me because I'm a Tank Davis fan, but it's like motherfuckers done flipped this shit because y'all done got so pussyfied, man, and y'all done got so caught up in your feelings that no matter what bullshit Tank Davis is doing, no matter how he can make the most pussiest moves, just speaking hypothetically, he can make the most pussiest moves and it's going to still be people that's going to root that on, even if it's to the detriment of the sport, even if it's to the detriment of them as a boxing fan. You feel what I'm saying? And I think it's time for Tank Davis. It's time for not even just Tank Davis fans, because there's other fighters that have fan bases that move the same way. But lately, it's these hardcore, Tank Davis fanatics, man. It's like y'all gonna have to take a look in the mirror and ask yourself, when Tank Davis get paid, what does that do for me? When Tank Davis fight this lesser competition and he get a bag, knock him out, what does that do for me though? Did you find out who the best was as a fan? Because that's what we watching this shit for. If you a football fan, you watching NFL, you want to see who gonna win the Super Bowl. You gonna find out who the best team that year. If ain't no Super Bowl at the end of the year, you like, what the fuck is this shit for? We don't who the best. We don't know who the best. So when Tank Davis buys a new Ferrari, ask yourself, what does that do for you? When Tank Davis get on Twitter and stun on a motherfucker and tweet some crazy shit and delete it real fast, what does that do for you? You ask me as a boxing fan, what did Errol Spence versus Terrence Crawford do for me? Man, I found out who the best was after 5 years. Now I know for sure. All this time we building up, man, Terrence Crawford the best, man, Errol Spence the best, man, Terrence gonna stop Earl, man, Earl gonna stop Terrence Crawford. We talking all day, but what happened when they actually fought? We found out who was the best. When Devin Haney fought Lomachenko, I wondered, I'm like, man, Dev was super young when he first started calling out Loma. Man, that's gonna be a big task for him, but Devin, he really wanted that shit. And even then, going in there and fighting Loma at 135, depleting himself, stayed at that fight, at that division for one more fight, just so he can, get that fight with Lomachenko. Go ahead and scratch that off his list in his little 3-fight deal with Top Rank. And go out there and he beat Lomachenko. Went out there, showed me some shit different. He had to step his game up. We never seen Devin Haney go to the body like that before. We never seen him press forward in a fight like that and go to the body and be so precise to the body and just mix up his game plan like that. We saw maturation. We saw a level of, maturity and growth. We saw him get better right before our eyes. When he went up and challenged himself to fight Regis in his first fight at 140, we saw growth. Like, what do you get? When I saw Teofimo Lopez fight Josh Taylor, I saw growth. Like, what are you getting out of not seeing good fights? What are you getting out of rooting on Tank Davis to fight anybody? And then, we still wondering how he's going to look versus Devin. How would he look versus Shakur? How would he look versus Lomachenko? We still ain't seen that fight. So that's why I say this the realest shit. This the realest Gervonta Tank Davis take, is because all I want to do, I want the best for Tank Davis, but I want to see, I believe he can, I think Tank Davis can beat all of these guys. But what good is that if we never get these fights? What good is it? I can think Tank Davis can beat Godzilla, King Kong. But how the fuck we gonna know? We just gonna keep talking about what he would do, what he could do. Oh man, don't even mention him with Tank. Tank could knock him out. How the fuck we know? But as long as y'all keep moving how y'all moving by being okay with whatever he do and not pushing for him to fight the best guys, we never gonna fucking know. Or he continue to fight this lesser competition, and then when he finally get in there with somebody that stylistically don't fit the bill, and he get outclassed, and now you motherfuckers left looking stupid. That's all I'm saying, bruh. I believe that Tank Davis can beat all these dudes, bruh. I just want to see the fights. You dig what I'm saying? I think a lot of y'all need to take a look in the mirror, bruh. Ask yourself, what do I get out of Tank Davis beating all these guys that's way beneath him, knocking him out? I mean, I never find out if he can beat Devin Haney. Or I never find out if he can beat Shakur. If I never find out that he can beat Lomachenko. I never find out he can beat Teofimo Lopez. Ask yourself that, man. Don't call me a Tank Davis hater because I have higher expectations of him than you do. Y'all let me know what y'all think down in the comments, man. Contender regime boxing. I holla at y'all boys, man.